Hi, my name is Brady and I chose today to talk on the faulty budgets. So all kind of revolved around a miscalculation. What happened is a man named Jack was in charge of making the budget for that year. And it was his first job that he had in the company that he was doing a solo project on. And when he first did it, he calculated a 25% increase in sales. He submitted that, went out to all the company. And then upon later reflection, he discovered that it was only going to be a 12.5% increase in sales. So he's out with lunch with his friend, telling him about that. And his friend encouraged him not to tell anybody because the company didn't really care for any errors or any mess ups in their job, and it could cost him his. But Jack still felt guilty, and really the only person that it affected was Pete, who hired extra people to be able to make more whiskey so to meet their demand for sales. So eventually he went and he decided to talk to Pete about it to let him know. As he talked to Pete, he informed him not to tell anybody else because of those people that they had hired. They'd have to fire at least 10 of the 20 new workers that they'd hired to meet those new demands that were now only 12.5 as opposed to the 25.5% gain. So Pete told him not to tell the CFO just so that neither one of them would look bad. And Pete also thought that it would negatively affect the company with having to fire those 10 workers, that other people might be like, oh, when's my job? When am I going to lose my job? So he informed Pete not to tell anybody. And that's kind of the breakdown of everything. And so the first question was, what should he do? So, I mean, the couple simple options he has is he can either keep it to himself, like Pete said, not worry about the conversation they had, or he can go tell Jose, the controller. And so personally, I think that he should tell the controller, but we'll kind of get on to that in some other questions here. So who should he approach? First, I think he should approach Pete just to kind of help break that barrier gap so that Pete doesn't feel like he went behind his back and lied to him. And then obviously you should tell Jose about the issue at hand and the misappropriation of the budget. And then, I mean, what's at stake? So obviously, I mean, Pete's job's probably not at stake because he just went off the numbers that Jack made, but Jack's job can be at stake, and also the trust that the controller and those within the company, his coworkers, have in him. And then with question 5, I think that he does need to talk to Pete to let him know that he's going to go tell Jose that he feels that's the right thing to do, just to give Pete that heads up so that he's not blindsided by that. And then with talking to Jose, they could relook at the budget and see if he actually did it right where it was his first project. Maybe he did it wrong, maybe 25% was correct. Maybe Jose will be okay with not needing to fire any of those workers, but they can re-go back over the budget, see maybe what's correct, where it is hard to guess and calculate those sales for the future. And the barriers that he would have on there is that, you know, Pete is going to want to know why he calculated wrong, how he came to the new calculation, and then you have the barriers of, you know, going about fixing that issue, firing those people or kind of whatever Pete deems to be correct or what Jose deems to be correct, and maybe Jose will tell him something similar to Pete to not worry about it, just to go on with it, and then, you know, you kind of got to go from there with what he feels is good, if he should quit, or maybe Jose will allow him to know that maybe they don't need to fire people because it will be better. But all in all, he definitely needs to go talk to Jose about that to be able to correct his mistake earlier so that it doesn't lead to future issues.